Shockers 2017. Seven Seas Rush in Japan went 5-0 this weekend. What a big fucking surprise that these restrictions that they made weren't going to impact the meta. Fucking science. So if you guys kind of lurk on Facebook, over this past weekend, Seven Seas Rush went 5-0 in Japan. And to those of you that are going to come in with a pitchfork, I'm prepared for you. I got my fidget spinner of justice, fucking ninja stars. They were like, oh well, you know, Japan's metagames relevant, you net decking scrub, you should kill yourself, you shouldn't be looking to Japan for answers. Wrong. If we've learned anything from Seven Seas Rush and these particular hits on things, it proves that the deck is really resilient. And, you know, I can't really dog on anyone for trying to play it, because at the end of the day, they're trying to get a win as much as anyone else. You know, there's no honor in competitive play when you're going for the win. You know, and I say that not in the regard of rule sharking, but if you're going to play the best deck, and you know it's the best deck, then you're going to play the best deck that gives you the best shot of winning. You know, it's just how it is in competitive play. And the unfortunate thing with designing a deck that acts like Dredge, for those of you that are watching this channel, they're Magic the Gathering players, you know, Granblue is a prime example of Dredge. The ability to play from the graveyard it's really detrimental in any game, and it's really interesting to see that more or less in Vanguard, because Granblue is one of the shittiest clans in the early stages of this game, and all it really took was just the ability to call back units and effectively use the drop zone as a secondary hand. And I don't think there's a balancing mechanic in this game yet, because there are no designed Cray Elementals to handle situations like this. You know, the Cray Elementals, I feel like, were Bushiroad's way of saying, well, we need to design generic cards that all clans can use to balance out issues. You know, perfect example, Pog War for unlocking, gave it to every clan. And we don't have a generic banished elite from the drop zone. You know, we don't have things that can answer threats in the drop zone besides deleters, and deleters are so heavily costed that it's really ridiculous. But with the way that the game is structured, you know, there's not ways to really handle these things. You can argue that Limit Break is a phenomenal way to do it, playing less grade 3s in your deck to handle the potential for Seven Seas Rush, but at this point in time, you tell me I have to, it's already bad enough that I have to lower my grade 3 count in order to better handle the current metagame, but you know, I would have to play Cray Elementals and things like that to handle. You know, if you're going into a major tournament, you know, 100 people, you know, you need to be prepared to play against Seven Seas Rush. You know, you need to know how to play that matchup. And it's not particularly an easy one. You know, there will be some games where you're playing against that you might be in an excellent situation, and then you go drive check, grade 3, grade 3. The sadness just fucking rolls in on people's faces. I think at the end of the day, though, if you manage their counterblast, you control their rear guards, you'll be in a situation that twin drive and drawing for turn should get you there. You know, one of the common mistakes I see with people playing against grade 1 Rush is they don't know what to do about it. They just think that slamming into the Vanguard with everything is the best way to do it. You know, you give your opponent 2 counterblasts, that's 5 attacks. You know, that's minimum 2 damage you're gonna have to take, unless you got lucky and got some draw triggers on the defense. It's not a beautiful scenario. So that's my general discussion on Seven Seas. Now let's talk about the things that they probably should do to the deck. At this point, you know, in Japan, They have the starter destroyed, it's at 1. Chappie the Ghostie's ruining that. And then we have the grade 1 retire and call back from the drop zone. And yet this deck still has the potential to go 5-0. You know, at this point in time, we may as well consider limiting the Counterblast 1 callback from the drop zone. I think that or Night Spindle would put more of a... I feel like that's where you need to go. Or just say fuck it and just ban the starter from the game. You know, I don't know who in R&D thought that limiting the grade 1 was going to be a good idea. I mean, you may as well go after Chappie at this point too, because Chappie's doing Chappie does best. It seems like the most troublesome cards are from the early stages of this game. You know, the oddities, as I like to call them. You know, things like Lozenge Magus. You know, Lozenge isn't a troublesome card, but it could be. It's got the potential to be a heel trigger that can go back into the deck on boost. Not terrible. But when I say that, I mean cards that their designs really haven't transferred over. You know, Chappie being one of those cards. You know, there is a problem with 7 Seas Rush existing. It doesn't allow the game to be played in the way it really should. But with its existence, if you know what you're doing, you're going to have a terrible ass time. If you're playing against a really good 7 Seas player, you're going to have a bad time. It's give or take. It's interesting when you look at that particular matchup, though, because Royal Paladin almost is one of your worst matchups. The fact that all of the blasters just go herb to derp, retire your shit. You know, if you don't get set up in the early stages of the game, or if you brick, a blaster just runs through you. And a lot of players in the TCG now have access to blasters. You know, they're the budget-friendly deck of the month. So, I don't know. It's particularly interesting because having a degenerate deck like this exist in the game, it's not good for the game, but it shows that there are flaws in the R&D design system that can definitely be fixed. So I can fuck with that concept. Outside of that, though, it probably should just go after the Counterblast 1 guy, return it from the drop zone on attack, and I think that'll put the final nail in the coffin for this particular deck. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on 7 Seas Cancer. I know a lot of people, they're not a particular fan of the deck, and I think it's because the deck, it's like staying at grade 2 before, you know, Sabris came out. You know, it was a fair and effective concept for a deck that needed to go to 3 in order to win, could viably stay at 2 and punish the Striders lane decks. You know, that's how you beat Gear Chronicle back in the day. You know, oh, well, your deck is entirely Break Stride? Cool, I'll stay at 2. And then, you know, when I'm ready to go, then I'll ride to 3 in Stride and make my attempt to kill you. And that worked. And then they designed Sabris. So there's a lot of cool things they could do. They could give a G Guardian that can be accessed at the early stages of the game for these particular things. There needs to be something, though, because you can't continue to let this deck run its course. A G Guardian that could be accessed while, I don't know, we've already got a Cray Elemental for 5 attacks, but I don't know if that's enough. But having something accessible might be too broken and punish other decks that are just doing their normal thing. And that wouldn't be good. You know, something that's like if your opponent's at grade 1 and you're at grade 3, you know, you can stride much like Sabris. Might have to be a heftier cost of like 3 counterblast, but there should be some concept for anti-punishment that exists. I don't know what. So I don't know. It proves that there's a lot of improvement that can be done in this game, and I particularly like that. Also, guys, as a note, the No Limit Gaming Tournament is this Saturday, June 10th. You guys should definitely come out, say hello. come play some Vanguard. Looking forward to having another 100-man tournament. Remember, $8 entry, get a playmat, and your chance to play for $1,000 in prizes. Whoop-de-fucking-do. That's amazing. So, I guess guys, leave a comment down below. If you guys are coming Saturday, I'll see you then. Until next time, Deuce Arenos, Audience Areno.
That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Card Fight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out mcole40 for Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and please check out mcolegames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming, nlgtcg.com for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.